Over the next 2 minutes, I want to make you think about classroom presence and how you can use that for your classroom management and engagement strategies. So what do I mean by this? Well, what I really mean is getting out and about around your classroom and having a real strong presence so that at any one given moment in time, your students and your children in your classroom know that you're going to be walking around, you're going to be kind of going to every corner in the room, and you're going to be checking on and motivating students all the time, rather than stood at the front. Now, the reason we often have to stand at the front is because we've got our PowerPoint slide behind us or Google Slides, and we're moving it on with the kind of mouse or the space bar. Get a clicker. You know, whenever I present at a conference, I like a clicker because I actually walk around the stage, etc., even just on the stage itself, moving left and right. Get a clicker that will suddenly free you from having to stand at the front and starting to then be able to present your lessons from different areas of the room. And you can use your presence for lots of reasons. You can wander around and just stand behind the student that's just been looking out the window for the last minute, and you just suddenly stand behind, and without saying anything, what you're saying to the student subconsciously is, I know that you now know that I know you were looking out the window a minute ago, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to call you out, but I'm just standing here and I've clocked you, and you now know that I know that. Real easy to do. When you're doing questioning, moving around the room when you're doing cold call questioning and thinking, right, who am I going to ask next? And just by walking around and going in between kind of group tables, in between rows, you're suddenly putting a bit of challenge and pressure on the students, saying, oh, he's coming, or she's coming, it could be me who's going to ask next. So that presence really, really helps. When I first started teaching, one of the first things I was ever taught, actually, deputy head sent me, I thought he was mad. He said, John, he said, a cat urinates in the four corners of the room to mark their territory. And I thought, what's he going on about? And what he meant was, walk the four corners of your classroom as early as you can in your lesson, because it marks the territory that this is my classroom, I'll go anywhere, nowhere's off limits for me, and I will walk all of the areas of the classroom. And that's really stuck with me about classroom presence and how you can own your own space. If you've got group tables, you might want to nudge them off a wall a little bit so you can get around the outside. You might have a figure of 8 route that you'll kind of walk. So trying to think about how you can get in and out, and using your presence to motivate, to inspire, and to know that you are going to be out there checking so that everyone needs to be working.